Everything is difficult, bro. In its own way, in its own right, to somebody. Yazid. There's a million different ways to pre-life, and there's so many different ways to live it. You're never in somebody else's skin, so you can't really talk on them situation.
One of my biggest fears is stepping outside of God's will, thinking it's my own way. And it's a weird thing because we'll pray, and sometimes people will say, I prayed and the Lord told me this. He told me to go left and he told me to go right. But many times, and I'd argue majority of the times, that's not the case. We'll pray and sometimes we just wait. Or we'll pray and sometimes we'll just move. But my biggest fear is making a move that was outside God's will. That fear has stopped me from doing a lot. There's a healthy side to wanting the Lord's will, but there's also an unhealthy side that falls into the spirit of religion, where I'm so afraid of every single choice that I just don't make any choice. So now I'm in a place where I have these dreams and I have these visions that I want to pursue. I started a production company and I made an app. While I was building, I was like, God, do you want me to do the production company or do you want me to do the app? And I was praying and I was worried and I was falling back into that thought pattern of fear, like fear to make any decision out of fear of making the wrong decision. And I went to a Bible study, and one of my friends from church, he said to me, he didn't know what I was going through. And he was just like, Kyle, I'm really hearing the Lord saying, yes, and, both and. And that was, in a way, confirmation for me that, yes, I can make the production company, and yes, I can make the app, and yes, I can make music, and yes, I can do the clothing brand. I took a mentorship class back in Jamaica in 2020. It was called Built in His Image. While I was a part of that community, something just clicked in my brain. It's like I woke up and I realized that we are here on this earth and we all have a purpose, and God has intention, just like He has intention with the design of the cosmos and the animal kingdom and atoms and the solar system and how everything is like interconnected. We as well also have a very specific plan and purpose. And God has a pathway for us to follow, like a predetermined path that He has been intentional enough to design. I think what this is, in essence, is taking the thing or taking the vision that you have and refining it by pursuing it. Because once you start, things become more clear. What this is right now, it was in my head. It was a subtle feeling. I didn't know the shots. I didn't have the story. I didn't have the music. But I had a feeling, and I knew what that was, at least. And as I stepped out and I started to shoot, it became more clear what was happening. And I think that goes the same for everything else that we pursue. Sometimes the Lord gives visions in different measures. Sometimes you get the finished product without knowing how you're going to get there. Sometimes you get the first step. Sometimes He gives you both, and then the middle is just a complete mystery. I think right now, I just have a feeling.
without you building yourself up, making yourself stronger, making yourself that rock for those around you, you can't expect to support them. You see it.
I feel lost.
Lost? What do you mean?
God is all powerful, and we have free will. How can both of those things be true? I believe that God, having all the power, chose in his omnipotence to give us the ability to make our own choices. I used to have a toxic relationship between vision and purpose, and honestly, God overall. I would overthink and be in a perpetual state of fear and anxiety because I would be afraid that at any given point I would make the wrong decision or step outside of God's will. The Holy Spirit gave me a revelation that if I'm here at point A and point B is my purpose,
I feel lost.
the truth is that the purpose is actually the distance between. It's not the end destination, but the process itself is God's intention. Your life is a tree, and every vein in that root has its own purpose. Some go deeper, some go wider. One vein might be you being a father, the other vein might be you being a son, and the other one is just you being a good friend. Yeah, so it says it right here. Proverbs 3:5-6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make straight your paths.
If you don't have a rock to keep your family together, you don't have people around you to keep your family together, it will fall apart. By the grace of God, it won't. And I pray it won't. But start focusing on building up those around you along with yourself.